I'm going to drop in that other camera.
Oh, that's why I can't do that. Just set that right there.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for our Action 2 News Monday morning check-in as we take a live look at Manitowoc this morning. Kind of a cool look over Lake Michigan as well. Some folks driving past the ship museum there, down the Maritime Museum, and Steve Beylon has been tracking this very cold weather that we're seeing out there, Tammy. 1 degree in Green Bay right now. It's been a brisk morning, to say the least.
Absolutely. I was just saying all morning, thank goodness it's a Victory Monday, right? Because it just feels a little bit warmer. We have a little bit more energy because the Packers won. But, yeah, it is bitter cold, Steve.
Yeah, we're kind of locked into that pattern now where even though it's not officially winter until December 21st, it's either cold or it's snowy around here. At least that's often how it is the case. You guys mentioned there's a few flakes out there. Let's take you to what's going on with First Alert Viper Max. And there's a few snow showers out there, just very light stuff. Lake Winnebago and there you go. Over towards Fond du Lac and Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties. This is mainly just some flurries that are just floating on by. Otherwise, it's pretty cloudy, mostly cloudy right now in Green Bay with calm air, but temperature and wind chill match. It's 1 above. Meanwhile, Lakeside, where we do have some flakes fluttering past the camera from time to time, it is 15, wind chill is 3. We've got a north wind at 9 miles an hour. It's running down the lakeshore, but as the day wears on, we'll pick up more of a south to southwest breeze. That's a nice shot, not just because you could see the Maritime Museum there, but you could also see how the river there and the harbor there is kind of frozen over, while the open water of Lake Michigan is still open for business, so to speak. So 11 degrees right now in Sturgeon Bay, a lot of single digits inland, 9 in Appleton. We are below 0 at the temperatures north and west, 2 below in Wautoma, Anago, and in Escanaba. And there's not much wind out there, a lot of zeros on our wind speed map. So, the temperature that's in your thermometer is probably really how it feels out there. There's not really much of a wind chill factor. Again, the wind will turn to the south and southwest today. It'll be light, not too chilly for wind chill, but it is going to be cold, a high of 22 degrees. A couple flurries, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Now, our next weather maker, or shall I say weather makers, I put an S on there because there's 2 rounds of snow heading our way tonight and then tomorrow night. So this is a 1-2 punch. We're getting a little jab from Mother Nature tonight, and then I would call it a right cross as we go into tomorrow night. So tomorrow night and early Wednesday morning, the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch. And this far in advance, when the Weather Service issues a winter storm watch, they will probably pivot eventually to either a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning. I suspect what they're doing here is they're probably leaving a little wiggle room for them to gather more data between now and tomorrow night to make a final call on that. I'm sure if their hand was forced right now, it probably would be a winter weather advisory. But just in the off chance that second disturbance comes in stronger than anticipated, they've left themselves an opening to go to a winter storm warning if necessary. But for now, it's a winter storm watch where 3 to 6 inches of snow will fall for most folks in that blue swath. There might be some isolated totals that get above 6 inches, but I think 3 to 6 will probably fit the bill. So your severe weather outlook is moderate for Tuesday night into Wednesday. And we do have also possibly some slick conditions Friday into Saturday here and there, but I think the most potent storm system is coming in tomorrow night. We've got back-to-back Alberta clippers that are coming through. With the northwest flow of the jet stream, these Canadian disturbances will glide in from the northwest and squeeze out some snow and create some slippery travel. And because the timing of the snow, mainly during the overnights into the early morning hours, our next 2 morning drives, beyond today, will be heavily impacted. So there's First Alert Pinpoint Predictor. We'll pick it up at 7 o'clock this evening. Clouds, Probably dry up through Action 2 News at 10 with meteorologist David Ernst, but then after that, here comes this moderate snow. So it comes through mainly during the pre-dawn hours, wrapping up early Tuesday morning. And then most folks are going to have to get out and do some shoveling, do some snow blowing. We're picking up about 1 to 3 fluffy inches out of this. And then once you get that cleared off of your driveway, we'll have to watch for the second round, which will probably arrive a little earlier in the evening for Tuesday night. That's 7 p.m. You can see the moderate snow pushing into the Fox Valley, Fond du Lac, and Sheboygan, spreading through the rest of northeast Wisconsin. It might be warm enough Tuesday night from Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, south down towards Milwaukee for some rain to be mixing in. But for us here in northeast Wisconsin, it looks like a snow event, which will be winding down early Wednesday morning. So round 2 will bring an additional 3 to 6 inches of snow across most of the area. And then it looks like we'll have to deal with the wind. So here's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. 1 to 3 inches tonight, 3 to 6 inches tomorrow night. On the backside of that second area of low pressure, we'll deal with this north wind, very blustery, gusts around 20 to as high as 40 miles an hour. Will probably cause blowing and drifting, especially in open country. Visibility may be reduced in some places, perhaps sharply, especially lakeside. That wind will slow down a bit as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday. And then after that, it's just cold. We get a reinforcing shot of this polar air. Highs will be dropping back into the teens, and a high of only 8 on Saturday. And, you know, Saturday is, not only is it a cold day, but it's kind of a fun day here in Green Bay because we've got the annual Santa Cycle. This is a great fundraiser. I know Chris Roth here at the TV station is heavily involved, and the money for this fundraiser helps to help out kids over at Children's Wisconsin. And I know they start this over at Badger State Brewery, and they ride around town. It's kind of fun to see all the people dressed up as Santa.
How is that bike pedaling on its own, Steve?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. Do you want to volunteer?
Chris Roth does a really good job at it. But
oh, I see. You just don't want to take away from Chris's cold fun, right?
Yeah, I don't want to take the pull away from that.
That was a very diplomatic answer, by the way. So you see that you wanted to be part of it. You just didn't want to be part of the cold. That's what it all boiled down to. But I would recommend that you would wear several layers underneath that Santa suit, especially with about 4 degrees in Green Bay when the actual Santa cycle starts at 10 a.m. And I think skies will be part.
You need one of those face masks that cover like almost everything, just your eyes, right, when you're biking against that wind.
Well, otherwise you get Santa Claus's rosy red cheeks. You know, you ever see pictures of him and he's going ho, 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 and he's got that red glow on his cheeks? Well, that's what happens when you spend several hours every day up in the North Pole in the Arctic Circle.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. Speaking of Santa Claus and, of course, his naughty and nice list, Tammy, we are talking about some folks who are probably going to be on the naughty list this year, some scammers who are, this one's interesting. They're promising people a free baby grand piano, right?
Right, and they have a really great story that goes along with
Sure.
it. They're saying that, you know, this is like a relative. In some cases, it's looks like it's a woman writing and said her husband just recently died or a brother recently died, and they were just passionate about music.
An emotional story behind it.
Emotional story, love their piano, and they just don't have any use for it anymore, so they really wanted to go to a good home. And the Wisconsin Better Business Bureau put out this alert last week because they have churches in Wisconsin, some churches that have been targeted by this. And I'll tell you, I've read some of the complaints, and there are more than 100 that they have in right now with this free piano scam. And they really are detailed in many of these, even in some cases trying to ask the person, you know, I want to see exactly where that piano is going to be. I want it to make sure it goes to a good home. You know, what kind of musician are you? How long have you played? I mean, they are really
trying to build that relationship with the person, make
really
it feel
trying
real.
to make it seem real. And of course, the piano is free, but the catch is that they want you to pay for the moving expenses. So, okay, to ship this piano, and obviously, I mean, you can imagine that's probably not cheap,
those are
right?
big pianos, yeah.
But the deal is that they're asking you to pay for that shipping right away, you know, pretty urgent, and to do it in, you know, it's not with a credit card. and they offer the moving company's name. So they're saying, here, I've already arranged this. And then in some of these cases, the person finds out, oh, now I've got to pay for the storage fee, that the piano's been in storage. Oh, I didn't realize that. So there's all these little twists that come along with it. But the Wisconsin Better Business Bureau wanted to put this out because they said these are showing up on social media, but they're also targeted emails that are going out, like I was saying, to churches and to schools, and in some cases music lovers. And some people have lost some money on this, paying for those shipping fees, because what happens is they're asking you to pay for those in advance. So if you pay for that, there's no piano, and so you're out those shipping fees.
You're just left without that money.
So I'll just tell you, the Wisconsin Better Business Bureau has a scam tracker. So you go to their website, bbb.org, and they've got a link to the scam tracker. You click on that, and if you just put piano or piano scam, even if you just put that in a Google search,
sure,
you'll find results on that. But yeah, you'll read these stories, and really that's what the Better Business Bureau is saying. When it comes to anybody giving away something for free, one of the big things too is that they'll never be able to talk to you in person. Okay, so that
messaging.
Yeah, it's all messaging.
Sure.
So that's where it becomes a little questionable. And so as we talk about this, always know who you're dealing with, and look it up on Scam Tracker. And also, it might seem more legitimate because they're saying, oh, I've got these moving companies, the shipping companies already set up. Better Business Bureau says look them up as well. Make some phone calls, check this out. But I had not heard of this scam.
It's not something you really think of. You think of, the gift card scams or the phone calls and the texts, but offering you something like so massive like this, it would feel like, oh, this must be real. And then, like you said, you look into it.
And then you just start reading. It's the similar story, and you're like, oh my goodness. So, and I think this is just a really good tip, just to realize that if someone is giving away something for free that is pretty valuable, you really want to take a second look at that.
It's one of those red flags that you say to watch for.
Absolutely, yeah. So just think that's a good thing to just take note of. And we just don't want you to be out any money, because what's going to happen is if you pay those fees, and if you're paying them through Venmo or some kind of payment app or something, wiring money, you could just be out that money and lose that, and then you don't have a piano in the end.
$2,000 that could be used for Christmas gifts or a whole lot of other things. So protect that money. Make sure you're not falling victim to that scam, and you can check out that full story at our website, WBAY.com. You mentioned, Tammy, at the top, it was Victory Monday. We're taking a live look at Lambeau this morning. You can see all the steam across. I love this shot on cold mornings. You can see all the steam across the valley there. And big win over the Bears yesterday, taking on the Broncos next week before the Pack then heads to Chicago to take the Bears on once again. Of course, we will be following along as the season continues. We're working our way toward the playoffs. Have a great Monday, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 4:30 on Action 2 News This Morning.